so the way to think about it is like we're just gonna have a chat. We're just gonna talk. Like no theatrics.
No, just chill conversation about how to actually set up your gym split, your workout split.
I mean, we do this during our piano lessons anyway. We spend we spend like 30 minutes before our piano lesson this past.
Yeah, this one was 30 minutes roughly.
Yes, but we got into a lot of interesting stuff, and you always ask really interesting questions, and I love to talk about it. I have been like since I moved here to North Carolina, I've been trying to find a workout buddy, and like it's a moderate success. But like I mostly just want people to talk to about fitness. Like I don't want to talk about like nothing. I don't want to talk about like the weather or like our personal lives.
No.
When I'm in the gym, I want to talk about the gym because I'm thinking about the gym, and the gym is really interesting. And so I haven't had anyone to like talk to about fitness in the gym for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not the most knowledgeable about the gym. I can only go off of so much. So
you know more than the average person at this point. Like you've been like learning about fitness for 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, 2 years roughly. But 1 year like actually solid, like adhering to those things that I've learned. So
just getting the background of like knowledge, like that takes time.
Knowledge is like half the battle, and then the other half is actually utilizing that knowledge.
Yes, but like for real, you just showed me that progress picture of you in the gym a few minutes ago. That's quite the transformation for only a year.
Yeah.
What do you attribute it to? Just like being, just like what do you mean like doing it seriously for the past year? Like fitness.
Like going for a set amount of time. Like I would set like an hour and 30 minutes to the side. Like go every single day of the week that I had planned. Don't skip a single day. And then also not skipping like meals, and then also not skipping cardio at all. Whereas beforehand, I would skip cardio every now and then, or I would miss a day kind of thing, and just say, oh, I'll get back to it next time.
True. So like how most people handle the gym. Be like, gym will be there tomorrow.
I gotta keep it consistent. I gotta go, like, if I plan to go 4 days a week, I gotta go those 4 days. And I also, just because I'm me, I was strict about what 4 days. So it's like, I wasn't following the mentality of like, oh, I'll go 4 times this week and it doesn't matter what day. No, I was just, I'm going to go this many times and on these days, basically.
Yeah. Just
exclusively.
Matter of like, just like, once you set your mind to it, like following through.
Yeah. And then, of course, as the time went on, I added more days. Now I'm doing, 5 days a week instead of 4. I upped it 1 day just because I wanted to be able to hit muscles more accurately. I was too tired on the 4 days to hit all muscles evenly.
Well, that's a perfect segue to what you wanted to talk today, which is splits. So, like, you're going 5 days a week. So, what's your split right now?
Right now, I'm doing the average bro split, just 1 muscle group a day. It's easiest for me to think about, but it's not necessarily the most beneficial, as some might say.
So 5 days a week. So that's what, like every Monday you're hitting chest, every Tuesday you're hitting back. So what is it?
But it's every Monday I'm hitting back. Then I do arms on Tuesdays. Wednesdays I would do legs. And then Fridays I would do chest, and then Saturdays shoulders.
Interesting. Wait, so let's strike. So back Monday.
Yeah.
Arms.
So
arms includes
like biceps, triceps, forearms, and then a little bit of shoulders. Not much though.
Legs Thursday, chest Friday, delts Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, pretty much.
So delts is the only thing you're hitting twice a week.
Yeah, pretty much. That was the only thing I was hitting twice a week at the time.
How come?
It's because originally whenever I was doing shoulders, I didn't like have knowledge of how to properly hit the rear delt. So due to gym constraints, I was utilizing the machines there that like actively I knew were hitting rear delts on arm day kind of thing. And since arms was a relatively short day already for me, it was not hard to add in and keep my schedule the same, basically.
Gotcha. So like it was just a point of like that's something that you really want to hit, so that's why you're hitting it twice a week.
Yeah.
But like how do you know that certain machines or exercises were hitting your rear delts?
Mostly because like the machines themselves would have like labels on it, one of like what muscle groups it was hitting.
So I take it it's like the pec deck, but like in reverse. So okay. And here's where we start to get into the nitty gritty. So yes, machines are gonna be like of the apparatuses. So free weights, cables, machines, bands. I think those are the four main ones to me.
Yeah.
Of those four, the machines are going to be the most simple, straightforward, like hardest to fuck up, you know? But trust me, yeah, people can. People do. Even I do. Like just because like it's labeled and like it's on a set track, like when you're doing this, you can't go up, you can't go down. You can literally only move in one dimension. So like it's going to be the most easy to do it properly. In this case, doing it properly, the goal is hit the rear delts. That is the goal. So doing it properly means hitting the rear delts. But like there's a lot of muscles that contribute to this motion. So going back, forget the word for that. I should know the word for that. I'm just going to say moving your humerus backward. I know there's a fancier word for that. I feel embarrassed that I don't remember, but we're all human. So anyway, so like, yeah, obviously the rear delt is going to be the primary mover, but like also the mid trap is going to be stabilizing that scapula. And you can even kind of draw that shoulder blade back as you're doing it. So you can over engage it. Like to the point where like you're engaging the traps over 50%, like in a ratio of like more than 50% to the rear delt.
Yeah.
If you do it wrong enough. But there's also, of course, like all the muscles of the rotator cuff that contribute to stabilizing, and also a little bit of that retraction there. Like even the infraspinatus especially can take a bit of that load. So like if the infraspinatus specifically, or supraspinatus, or I can remember the four. Okay, it's I should refresh my memory. Teres minor. That sounds right. The rhomboids. That sounds right. We'll go with those. I know there's four in the rotator cuff, but like they of course help with rotation, but also they assist in other things. It's the exact same thing as like take the biceps, right? It's known for contracting the forearm.
Yeah. And then it's also for the movement of like 15 degrees.
Yes. Right.
For the shoulder, like that much movement.
Indeed. And of course it also was that supinates the forearm.
Yes.
So it does three jobs, but it has one main job. So like those rotator cuff muscles, they have the main job of rotating that arm outward, but like for retraction type movements like that, they're also assisting it. So like there's never, well, I never say never. There's not usually like true isolation movements. Even like I'm trying to think of like the most extreme example of an isolation movement, which is like the preacher curl, right? Your elbows on the bench, kind of hard not you don't think about like engaging with your other muscles, but like you're going to be stabilizing with the shoulder, everything in your traps, even your abs and your core should be engaged. Because if they're not engaged and setting you properly in place, you're probably going to start to move around a bit. So even though those other muscles are not doing the moving, they are engaged and they are working even on the most isolation of exercises. So bringing back to the rear delt fly, there's a reason why I phrased the very first question the way I did, which was, how do you know it's hitting the rear delt? And you said because that's just what the machine does. But given everything I just said, how do you know?
You can also feel the muscle.
Yes, that's the answer I was looking for. Which is like, if you feel the burn, that means you're working it. That's like, it seems so basic, but like people forget it. People are just like associate like bench press. You're like, bench press is a chest exercise. Therefore, if I'm benching, I'm hitting chest. Definitely not necessarily. I see people, especially like, oh my gosh, incline bench press. Like most people are just doing a shoulder press at that point. Like I'm just like, you are not hitting your chest at all. You're just hitting your delt. So like because
there's no chest activation there.
No. So like, and like the meat of what I wanted to talk about. Oh wait, no, today we're talking about splits. We're not talking about. We're not talking about what we were talking about on before our lesson. Well, to finish my thought, which was your question, which was what we were talking about for 30 minutes, was like, how do I hit my rear delt? And basically my answer was, feel it, understand what the rear delt does, which is, retract the humerus? I don't really know.
It just retract. All it does is move the arm from here to there. That's it.
I'm sure it does other things. I really should refresh my memory.
That's its major purpose.
Yeah. So anything. So like, yes, that is an exercise that can hit it, but like you can take any apparatus you want, cables, free weights, whatever. As long as you're doing that motion and you think and you feel and you squeeze that muscle, you should hit it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which was to answer your question from Monday. But to answer the topic you wanted to talk about today, how do we figure out the right split for you? So right now you're doing a bro split.
Yep.
It's kind of bro-y.
It is very bro-y.
It's solid.
I'm hitting every muscle at least once a week. That's the goal. But I'm also the other thing I wanted to add into that is I'm also doing like high volume. So like there's a lot of sets, and then how
much volume?
And then usually it's like 6 to 9 sets total
per muscle group.
Yeah, per like a muscle. So like the biceps 6 to 9, and then 6 to 9 for triceps, and then same thing with forearms on just like arm day.
Wait, sets or exercises? So sets total.
Yeah, only like 2 exercises, one to 2 exercises I aim for.
I would say that's not a lot of volume.
It's not? Oh.
I say you should be doing more. Which is like, I definitely want to, I mean, we could talk about volume now. I mean, volume frequency, it kind of goes along when we talk about splits, which is what the main focus we want to talk about today. But as far as volume is concerned, I sent you that article by, what's his name?
You did, and I
Dr. Schoenfeld.
Yes.
I really like his article. And the conclusion he came to summarize the article, I guess I can cite it, is that the ideal training frequency per muscle group per week is twice a week. So right now you're hitting it once a week, right? Which I think is fine. Like I did once a week for years and experienced good, had a good experience with it. But but he not only recommends twice a week, but a volume of about 10 to 12 sets per muscle group, per workout.
Okay.
So that's twice a week. So that's actually 20 to 24 sets per week. You just said that you're hitting like 6 to 9 sets per week.
Yeah.
That's definitely on the low end.
Yep.
And like not even like even, and this was actually brought to my attention fairly recently, this article. But even with like my previous knowledge and my previous experience and like my own preferences, I typically did like for small, I did it by size of the muscle. So like bis, tris, and delts are small muscles. And I was hitting it usually like 10 to 15 sets per week. So that's the small ones. And then medium ones like the quad. I'm thinking, I'm looking at my body here. What's medium? Like the quads, the chest, hamstrings, glutes. Chest might be on the big. So wait, no, so like medium ones would be like, maybe that would be the delts. Okay, no, okay, I usually like to think this out. Okay, small ones: forearms, calves, bis, tris.
Okay.
And like things like your adductors, abductors. I don't really isolate those. I know a lot of girls like to do those, but that's more for like toning. And for guys, I don't know why I did this, but like for guys, those more for stability. I don't really isolate those. Those get hit a decent amount. Like if you're squatting enough, if you're deadlifting enough, whatever.
Yeah.
So those are the small ones, 10 to 15. Medium ones, I'll say like the delts, quads, hamstrings. I'll put glutes in there. A bit more volume, so like I don't know, 12 to 18 to 20, something like that. 12 to 20, I don't know. And then large muscles like the chest and the back is even more volume. So I don't know, like 15 to 25, 18 to 25. It's just like bigger muscle needs bigger volume.
Yeah, it's going to need more work to ensure that you hit it properly.
Yes. These days, I don't know. I'm still kind of working out. My preferences are always changing. I'm always trying out new things. So I'm not really sure what I believe at the moment. I'm currently doing the 2 times a week split. But I've only been doing it for 2-3 weeks, so I need a little bit more time before I can really come to
really have a
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally gonna be trying out the 2 times a week. I guess it'd be a push-pull legs effectively kind of split.
Yeah. Well, it can be. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Like right now, I think I mentioned I'm doing chest with triceps, back with biceps, and then legs and shoulders. But I'm doing a double split. I'm doing like chest in the morning and then biceps in the evening. And then so it's 3 days, but it's 6 workouts in 3 days. It's
that's
fun.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah, especially with all the cardio. I have to do 30 minutes of cardio, as well as like 12 sets of core every workout. So it's like...
So just because you brought up cardio, I actually wanted to ask about it. Is there any reason to ever go to, say, like an hour of cardio or like 2 hours of cardio ever in a day?
Depends on your goal, which is my answer for most things. So if you're training for like a marathon, marathons last over 2 hours, so you may have to train for over 2 hours. I don't have much experience myself with marathons because I think they're for crazy people. And that's, I mean, I'm a crazy people, but I'm not that type of crazy. I'm a different type of crazy.
Yeah.
So 2 hours a day, that's excessive. Like, if you ask me, it's excessive. So like, I recently got a Fitbit. I'm not wearing it right now. mostly just to monitor my heart rate for the cardio, because I'm trying to hit a specific range, that fat burning zone, the Orange Theory zone.
Yeah.
Of 133 to 143 BPM for me right now.
That sounds about right.
But according to the Fitbit, during like one of those workouts where like I hit a lift, do cardio and abs, I'm burning like 900 calories plus in like an hour and a half.
Okay.
That's a lot of calories. I'm only getting 2,200 right now. Because I'm prepping for my show.
Yeah.
So, and that's only with 30 minutes of cardio. I am doing stairs, which stairs are decently intense, like at least compared to treadmill, elliptical, bike. I think it's the most intense out of those. But like I will be increasing my cardio as I get closer to the show date. Like right now, doing 30, probably go up to 45, and then probably going up to an hour. But like I've done one show before, and I never did more than an hour of cardio in a day. And like when I think of like intense exercise, like reasons to go intense, like trying to get down to 5% body fat for a bodybuilding show is one of those situations. And so like and a situation where like the point is to burn calories. It is to like put your body through a lot of intensity. Even then, I wasn't really doing more than an hour of cardio. Granted, I was doing like an hour. I was doing like 30 to 45 minutes of a workout and then the cardio. But your question was like 2 hours of cardio, just cardio. I would say not for bodybuilding purposes.
Okay.
If you're doing like extreme cardio situations, like training for a marathon, I think that's the only reason to.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because I know a lot of people who add cardio, and like that's like a part of their workout split. They're going to add the cardio in as like a portion of their time.
That much though? 2 hours?
No, it's just they're always asking like, how long should I go? Should I be going for an hour? Should I be going for however long? And then I'm like, is there a reason to ever go past like an hour, or is there ever a reason to go to the extreme of 2 hours?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I already answered the past 1 hour. I think an hour is like the cap. Like, just because
for like bodybuilding sake.
Yeah, for bodybuilding, including normal situations, bodybuilding and normal situations. Cardio situations, if you're an athlete training for whatever, that's its own situation. There might be, but I'm also not. That's not my area of expertise. I have some experience, varsity cross country and track in high school. But besides that, but for bodybuilding purposes, I think like 30 minutes on top of your workouts per day, maybe taking like 1 true day off, 2 true days off. So like you can have rest days that's like only cardio and abs, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then I talk about a true day off is just like, no, lay down.
Yeah, just chilling.
Yeah.
You're having a day of rest, an actual day of rest.
True rest. Yes. So if you're, so for cardio, 30 minutes with a workout is plenty. That's good for most people. That's what I recommend for most people. If you're like really trying to like slim down and like you're serious about it, or maybe there's like a deadline, like, oh, summer's coming, gotta look good in a bathing suit, or like, oh, I gotta go to a wedding, so I gotta look good, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Then like you can start to increase it to 45.
Okay.
45 to me is kind of like pretty intense, because like if you're doing it properly, like especially like 45 minutes on the stairs, you should kind of feel like you're dying. like not even like at like a really high like heart rate zone. I'm still talking about like that 60 to 70%, that Orange Theory zone, where it's mostly fat burning and muscle saving. Even if you're staying at that relatively moderate zone, 45 minutes should still be pretty hard. I'd like to think I have a decent pain tolerance, but like, especially after a workout, I'm
trying to think the last time I did cardio. Yeah, I was sitting there like, man, I want to go and take a nap now. It's like,
well, That's true. Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I went too hard. maybe time to go lie down.
Exactly. Yeah. 45 minutes is intense, and then like an hour is like you're gonna start to really be pushing like that overtraining zone, which overtraining is, of course, like pushing yourself, breaking your body down faster than your body can recover,
which can be dangerous.
Well, it's dangerous, but more so, I'm just thinking that like if you're breaking yourself down faster than you can recover, then you just won't be making any progress because your body's not recovering. Yeah. So it's just like you're going to be in pain, you're going to be tired all day, and you're not making gains. It's just a lose-lose all around. So I know, and I've met a fair amount of people, and I was this person myself, which is just like, no pain, no gain. I got to push myself harder. I should feel in pain. And like, oh, actually, this is a perfect moment to talk about mental health. I'm gonna slightly psychoanalyze this. This is an archetype that I have noticed, and this archetype is the person who like feels like they should be in pain, like they have like some mental issues, and like speaking as someone who has had serious mental issues in the past, like there's like some like what's the word I'm looking for, a complex where they're like, I deserve to be in pain, and so like pushing myself to the limit is a way of like seeking justice, or like I don't know, maybe it's like a guilty conscience, or like they don't have a good healthy view of themselves, like I'm not a good person, I'm not a person of value, and therefore I should bring down the hammer of justice on myself and inflict pain on myself, basically being the judge, jury, and executioner. I don't know.
Kind of the executioner, I guess.
Yeah, and just like yes, I deserve this pain kind of thing. I've noticed, I don't know, this is an archetype that I've kind of noticed in certain people. Definitely a lot of people.
I noticed it a lot online, where like people are like, I didn't go hard enough, or like that, like if they're not feeling sore at all, then they're like, I didn't go hard enough, I need to go back and do more.
Well, I actually think that the majority of people who have that mindset is like, oh, I should always be going harder. It's not that complex. It might be a different complex of never being good enough, which is slightly different than the one I already brought up. And that can be like an inferiority complex, where it's just like, I'm not good enough, so I have to push myself absolutely harder and harder and harder so that I can be good enough. But that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Right? Value and being good enough comes from just self-acceptance and just like loving yourself, right?
Yeah. That's what I would say, at least.
Yeah. Love and acceptance isn't earned. At least it shouldn't. In any healthy relationship between either you and another person, such as a parent, or like you and yourself. Like you should love and accept yourself no matter what. That's a healthy relationship with yourself. And loved ones should have that, right? Unconditional love for yourself. Love you no matter what. They want the best for you, but like they're not going to withhold love if you don't meet expectations, you know? Like maybe those people that you see online, which is like, oh, I didn't bench 3 plates today. I hate myself. Right? That's not a healthy
that's pretty much how it is. It's like, oh, I didn't get X number of reps, I need to go back and try again. Or like, oh, I didn't bench 3 plates. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. And so like in my eyes, like, oh, I didn't bench 3 plates for 3 reps. I'm not good enough. I don't love myself. I think that's just as bad as, oh, I bench pressed 3 plates for 3 reps. I do love myself. That's just as bad, because both of them, it's the same issue. It's conditional love. And conditional love is unhealthy. It just leads to issues. Yeah, it leads to issues in and of itself. Like when you've earned that love, it feels good in the moment, but like down the line, you're going to keep... It's going to lead to issues, yeah, because at some point you're going to reach a plateau, and... things are gonna either your mental state's gonna decline or one.
Yeah, or
One
even
other
just
thing
like
can
you
happen.
get older, you know? Like there's no 70-year-olds pushing 3 plates. It's
None
just,
that I know of.
well, none yet. None right now. Um because there's a limit, a literal limit. Or like if you're like, what happens if you're like benching 3 plates and you like push yourself and now you hurt your shoulder and now you can't bench 3 plates for a year or 2 years? You're just not going to love yourself for that many years. You're just going to be miserable for those entire years. Horrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it.
Horrible place to be.
Yes.
But I guess to like sort of get back to the topic of splits, like as like I said earlier, I'm doing the bro split, and one of my friends, they're doing sort of like a full body twice a week thing. Like how would like my friend, say for instance, like go about improving his split more for his purposes, like to fit his schedule, or to like kind of like where does he go from there, kind of thing, if he wants to continue progressing?
Yeah, so you mentioned this friend briefly in the past before. So like they've been doing this 2 times a week split for 2
Almost
years?
actually, yeah, I'd say almost 2 years, roughly.
It's 2 years. That's a long time to be doing just 2 times a week. So my answer will more so lie in frequency, which is if he's been doing this for a year, 2 years, fairly consistently, he should be able to handle more times per week. 2 times a week, that's kind of like the starting point for anyone who's like pretty unhealthy, pretty out of shape, like really just not used to like getting that heart rate up. But then from there, should probably be increasing it to 3 times a week. I'd say like within like after at least like a month. So honestly, I think they should have moved to 3 times a week after a month, or 2 at the latest, you know?
Yeah.
So, and they are doing full body. And their goal, you've mentioned, is to lose weight. It's also to gain muscle?
They are trying to gain muscle, yeah. The right now their goal is to drop from like, I think it was like 260 to 205 is what their current body, like they want to drop down to 205 in body weight. And so that's one of the reasons I brought up cardio, because they also ask like, how long should I be on the treadmill? How long should I be on the Stairmaster? How long should I be on these things? And to actually see fat loss, basically. They are trying to actively change around their diet to, fit their scenario that they're in. So that's not really a question for them, but everything else is like, they don't really know, and they can't find active or like actually good resources online that just give them a straight answer. Because one guy's going to say, do running all day, every day.
Well, okay, so perfect. Let's do what the internet cannot, and that is, based on what we know about him, we can give a straight answer, because the internet doesn't know you. The internet has never met you. They can't give you a customized answer, like the most accurate answer. They can only give you a general answer, like, this worked for me. I was near your level. This worked for me. Like, that's pretty much what you can get online. Or you can just get the information and try to synthesize it for yourself. But if you don't have that like experience, it's kind of hard to synthesize it for yourself. So let's do it for your buddy. Okay, so they weigh around 260. They want to get down to 205. So they have a weight. They have a fat loss goal, right? It's always good to know the goal first. So they've been lifting for a while. They lifted with you, so they have some information of the basics of how to lift, right?
Yeah,
they form.
They have the basics, and their form is relatively good if they kept it consistent from the last time I went to the gym with them.
Okay, so I think they should definitely increase to I think they should increase to 3 times per week, and stick to it for at least two months, I'll say, and then kind of reassess. A lot of in the gym is going by feel. Like even like preparing for my bodybuilding show in 9 weeks. A lot of it is just like based on like how do I look? How do I feel? All right, we're going to move some carbs around here. We're going to decrease it there. We're going to increase cardio here. Like it's based on look and feel. So that's why I'm saying like I think your friend should increase to 3 times a week, do it for 2 months, and then reassess. But for now, 3 times a week. He can keep doing full body. Full body's okay. The reason I usually recommend full body for like general conditioning and oftentimes like older adults is because the main downside of full body is that you can't target nearly as much. So like take for example you, Zane, when you're doing like chest day, like are you just able to just like really contract the heck out of your chest, like, get a really good pump, really start to feel it like just instantly, like on your first set, even on your first exercise?
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah, not usually. Or even your back, right? Like it usually takes a few
Definitely
sets.
not on my back.
Takes a few sets to get it going, right? So like when you're doing full body, you can only afford 1 exercise, 2 exercises at most per muscle. So like because of that, like it takes a while for you to start feeling it, for it to start like really getting into the lifts. You can't get that level of targeting on full body usually. Okay. So that's why, to give your friend a straight answer, it would be I'd probably recommend like a push-pull legs if they're doing 3 times a week. I like push-pull-pull. Push-pull legs. I think it's a good place to start. It's a good beginner split because you start to get some targeting for specific muscle groups. You're grouping them together by function. So chest, delt, and triceps, because they're in pressing motions, they work together. There's overlap. So even when you're like hitting your chest, you're still hitting triceps. Even when you're doing these presses, you're still hitting the other things, right? Yeah. So even though you're actually still hitting 3 pretty big muscle groups in one day, because there's a lot of overlap, they're still getting a good amount of use, you know? Yeah. So in this example, the overlap is a good thing. As we talk later about more advanced splits, one of the things that separate advanced splits from beginner splits is the specificity. That's a word, right? Yeah. Specificity. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's more targeted. Like, and I'm going to attach that little flowchart to this posting that I sent you. But I think like there's like one example that I did that's like I just tried to think of like a really exaggerated example. Here you go. Chest and glutes, back and quads, delts and glutes. Wait, no, I did glutes twice. I meant to do hamstrings for one of those. So like chest and hamstrings, back and quads, delts and glutes, bis and tris. Yeah. There's no overlap in any of those. So that's going to take a lot of targeting. That's really precision. That takes a lot of knowledge. Like, how do I isolate the glutes? Like, do I even know enough glutes to make an entire workout, right? Some people don't. They're like, hip thrusts. Okay, and, right? Like, and squats. What kind of squats, right? Yeah. So, at the beginner level, push-pull legs, you can just do a push motion. Like, and you'll hit the target muscle. So it's beginner friendly while starting to separate out the muscle groups. I'm going to finish the answer for your friend, and then we can move on to that flow chart and talking about the other areas. So I'm just going to prescribe a free workout program for him, a general outline. Push-pull legs, so like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, solid. Cardio, 30 minutes after each lift. Okay. I like the stairs. Stairs are fun. Or you can do a treadmill at an incline. So like 4.5 miles an hour, 3.5 incline.
Yeah, that's what I got him onto, was the treadmill, because I was like, super easy. I know he can do it because I've seen him walk on the treadmill.
Yeah. Listen to an audiobook, listen to a podcast.
Yep.
Easy peasy. Abs. Hit the abs after each workout, before the cardio. So lift, abs, then cardio, in that order.
Okay.
And this is just like a tangent tip for abs. The abs have, I'll simplify it down to 3 basic functions. You can kind of get more specific with it, but I'll say 3 for now, which is rib cage to hips, hips to rib cage, and then twisting. So it's like 3 basic functions. So that when your friend is doing his abs, I would recommend doing like crunches, leg lifts, and like Russian twists. 3-4 sets of each, whatever. That's an easy, basic. Just, you don't have to think about it. Just hits everything. And like walk on the treadmill / on the stairs for 5 to 10 minutes before the lift. That's just a warm up.
Okay.
That's not included in the cardio.
Okay.
Cardio's
because cardio's after the workout.
Yes. Okay. That's everything that your friend would want, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Because it mostly he's just like, he's at a point where he's like, I'm making progress, but it's not like, he feels like he could be making more, if that makes sense. Like, because 260, I believe 260 is down from what he used to be. He used to be 15 pounds more. So yeah, he's now he's just like, I need to really lock in and lose weight. And
well,
he doesn't want to lose muscle at the same time as losing weight. So
who does? So yeah, definitely increase it to 3 times a week. He could just do full body, or push-pull legs. Either way, it's about the same. It averages out to being basically the same thing. Okay, cool. Okay, let's talk about the flow chart. So the very first one is my recommendation to females. When I was a trainer for 8 years, I had a few female clients. Most of them were guys, but I had a few females, and they basically all wanted the same thing, just as the guys want the same thing. But the girls basically wanted good butt and a toned upper body. They're like, not bulky. I don't want it bulky. And my answer to that, I think this answer is finally catching on, like online, which is that like girls do not have enough testosterone to become bulky. It's just like kind of not. They just don't have the hormones to support the bulk that they're trying to avoid. And speaking as someone who has a girlfriend who does not want to get bulky, that's my answer to her too, is like, I don't care how many pull-ups you do, you're not going to get lats as big as me.
You will never grow wings like the rest of us.
No. And it's just like, no matter how much delt exercise you do, your shoulders will never be as broad as mine. One, because your shoulders are like half the width of mine, just like the frame is not there.
You will not look like Goku. Don't worry.
Yes. For better, for worse. Yes. So basically, no matter how much girls hit their upper body, generally speaking, it's never going to be too bulky. That being said, what I usually had them on is that they did want to develop a good butt, toned legs, toned upper body. I'll leave the definition of good up to them, whether it means shapely, whether it just means big, whatever. I'm just going to leave it at vague, at good, whatever the girl deems as good, which is subjective, as there is no right answer. Holder. Yeah. So my 2 recommendations are lower, upper, lower. Don't neglect your upper body, just as guys should not neglect their lower body. Girls should not neglect their upper body. But hitting lower body twice and the upper body once, still leaves that proportion, I think, pretty good. And then if you, for the female who wants to be even like more toned, more intense, more serious about the gym, they could even split that upper body into a push and a pull, so that like the push muscles, they're still only getting hit once a week, and the lower body is still getting hit twice a week. So it's the same amount of, well, actually, it's not the same amount of volume, because it'll be twice the amount of volume per the upper body, but the upper body will still be getting half as much as the lower body.
Yeah, it's you're just dividing the groups up a little bit so you can actually focus them.
Yeah, essentially, like if a girl wanted to hit the gym 3 times a week, lower, upper, lower is what I'd recommend. If they wanted to hit the gym 4 times a week, lower push, lower pull would probably be my recommendation.
Okay, yeah.
All right, and then general conditioning, people who just want to stay fit, and people who are like who do athletes. I have a friend who likes to go running a lot, and so like he's actually doing, I think, upper lower. So he's hitting the gym 4 times a week, but splitting it like that. But also he could do like full body, whatever. That's just general conditioning. We already touched on that. The reason being, you just don't get the amount of targeting that you get with splitting it up in the next few splits. So going back to the chart, so that leaves us with hypertrophy or strength. At the beginning and intermediate levels, it doesn't really matter whether you're looking for hypertrophy or strength, because, and this actually goes to, I got my NASM book over there, but the NASM, they basically have an OPT model. That's what they call it, the OPT model. I forget what it stands for, but basically it's just like at the foundational level, you want to work on stability. I think they call it stability endurance. So there's a lot of like on the back of like a yoga ball and doing like chest press with like dumbbells. So like highly unstable, and working on proprioception, which is a fancy word for like your brain's ability to control your muscles. So like at the basic level, so if you have a friend who is just starting out for the very first time in their life, like lifting weights, that's where they should start. Highly unstable environments, free weights, no machines. This is actually a topic that I'd like to go in depth somewhere else on my channel or whatever, in a future podcast. Which is that beginners, free weights. It's actually the advanced lifters who should gravitate more towards like the machines, because the advanced lifters, they have this stability. They've been lifting for a while. They are the ones who are now trying to target big muscles and make them bigger. Whereas beginners, they got wobbly arms.
To make those muscles.
Yeah. Well, they don't know how to use their arms yet. They got noodle arms. They don't know how to move them. So put them in unstable environments and learn how to move them smoothly. So that's the foundational level, stability endurance. Then you got strength endurance, still unstable environments, but now you're trying to up the weight, and now you're trying to like start building some strength and be able to do it for a while. So still a lot of high volume. So like stability, the level 1 endurance is like 15 to 30 reps, high reps. And then at the level 2, the strength endurance, still high reps, like 15 reps. And then level 3, that's when we get to hypertrophy. That's when you want to start building muscle. And then it's level 4, which is strength. I think I have that order correct. Yes. Because the reason being is like, if you work on strength before muscle, you're trying. So what strength is your ability to recruit muscle fibers and move weight. And that's a lot of like mind muscle connection. It's a lot of form, right? That's why if you look at strength guys, like take for example, like bench press, their rib cages are like really like up and like really trying to do this, right? And
the biggest arch in their back they could physically make.
Yes, it's form. I mean, there's a lot of layers to why they do this. I don't really want to get into it right now because that's a big tangent. But it's form, right? That's the biggest thing. So like you want to build up muscle to support that form first, so that you can then use the muscle that you've created and learn how to connect to that through good form and lift that heavy freaking weight. So it's hypertrophy first, even if you're just a dude who wants to bench press heavy, squat heavy, deadlift heavy, hypertrophy first. But like isn't your goal more so like bodybuilding side with a little bit of strength?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm doing mostly hypertrophy based right now, and then the strength training is just for the major muscle groups. They're basically the ones that I think should be strong because they're supporting every other muscle group basically. Mm-hmm. So like lower back and legs I think should be the most supporting. I'm still like focusing on hypertrophy for the legs, but I'm not going to neglect their strength either because I think they should be strong. Foot stability and everything should be good.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty similar to me. I'm more so just like straight up in the hypertrophy camp. Strength is cool. Being strong helps get bigger muscles. But
another reason is just because I'm doing a lot of things that require me to have strength. Like I'm working on a car now. I need to be able to lift some of these components. They're 20, 30 pounds on their own. They might be connected to another component that's 20, 30 pounds on its own kind of thing. And if they're stuck together, I need to be able to lift that. Yeah.
Is the word for it. I know that's a trendy word, and a lot of people like want functional strength just for the sake of functional strength. But like you're actually using that functional strength. It's serving an actual function. So,
and then I'm also doing more yard work. We have a lot of trees in our yard, so I have to be able to move like logs and stuff. So,
sure. Yes. So
functional strength.
Strength
needed
is needed for you. So build that muscle first, and then you can get that strength. So, getting back to the flow chart, at the experience levels, beginner. Again, I like that push pull legs. And for people who are getting into hypertrophy strength training, I would have them start like at 3 times a week. I think that's a good starting point. Unless like you're quite like old or frail or quite like overweight or whatever. Like, yeah, you can ease into it with 2 times a week, but 3 times a week is like the average person. That's a good place to start. And I like push pull legs. Once you start to lift push pull legs for 3 months, I'll pull an arbitrary number out, but really intermediate to me just means like you understand the basics. You're able to connect to all of your muscles at least like
relatively
decently,
consistently.
And like you've probably noticed at a physical change in your body. You'll probably have noticed that you've lost maybe a little bit of fat, gained a little bit of muscle. That's usually around like the 3-month mark of consistent working out. So at the intermediate level, like 3 to 5 times a week frequency, starting to lift, starting to increase the volume. Your body can start to take it. And then you can start to target more. So to get back to our original reason of what we're supposed to be talking about today, which is splits, because your body can handle more workouts per week, you can now split it up more. Because right, if you had 4 things to hit in a week, but you're only going to the gym 3 times, that doesn't make sense. So because you're now at the intermediate level, maybe going 4 times a week, now you can at least have 4 different categories that you're hitting, such as like chest, back, arms, legs. I did that for a while. So arms being bis, tris, and delts.
Yep.
Just because like I naturally have pretty sizable delts, so I didn't really feel the need to have delts on its own day. So, and chest and back being, to me, basically the 2 biggest muscles in the body. For a guy. For a girl, the glutes are probably also up there. So chest, back gets their own day. Probably hitting some cardio, hitting some abs as well. But then arms, and then legs. But also at the intermediate level, you could also do push, pull, delts, legs, if you want to put more of an emphasis on the delts and de-emphasize the bis and tris. That is, to me, push, pull, delts, legs, that's the bro lift. That's the bro split.
That's the bro lift.
To me, yes. Because, or even like, what is it, like push, pull, delts, and then just like a day for benching and deadlifting, just like no legs. Maybe that's the true bro lift.
That's the truest bro lift I have ever heard in my life.
But I think that people are now like starting to realize now legs are important, and there's a lot of people really advocating for legs, and I think legs are becoming cooler to lift. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not very hip and with it on the interwebs as much as I should be.
I personally have seen a rise in like Lee Priest and Lee Priest was like one of the like
Tom
wasn't he,
Platz.
like, one of the known. Yes, Tom Platz, the other one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most amazing quads in history. Tom Platz.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like Lee Priest and Tom Platz like becoming more popular.
Lee Priest, I think more. I think he had good quads, but I think he's more so known for his triceps, right?
Yeah, I think he is for his triceps and biceps, but
he's still classic era, so he still has an emphasis on legs.
And then, so yeah, now that I'm seeing like those guys more frequently online, it's like I would assume that legs are of course getting more popular because that's just that era.
Yeah. So yeah, push pull delts legs. That's if you want to get the Goku look. Like he actually doesn't have that big of bis and tris, but he has beach ball
massive delts.
Yeah. So those are the two options.
Boulder sized delts.
Those are the two options I put for intermediate, and then advanced. So this is where the separation between strength and hypertrophy goes. And of course, you can alternate between them. Like if like this week or this month you're focusing on strength, and then you can alternate it with hypertrophy. You don't have to do just one. I would recommend people change things, try things out.
That's what I've been doing. I've been slowly altering my workout routine. I've tried many different routines and just seeing what feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Usually what I recommend is people do is change up their workout at least every 3 months, at least in some way. Like they could keep their split. Like if they're doing like chest, back, arms, legs or whatever, they can do that. But maybe they're like, oh, I should start focusing on my quads on leg day. Like maybe I was hitting them all equally before, but now I want to focus on quads or something like that. They should be changing something at least every 3 months.
Can you give me 1 second real quick?
Yeah.
My phone is like giving me a notification. I want to grab my charger.
Okay.
Because I think it's close to dying. I don't know how that's possible.
Okay. Grab your charger.
I didn't think my phone would get low at all. So, yeah.
We've been talking
for about an hour.
Hour and a half.
Yep. So,
we're talking.
And it's not used to being used as a camera for an hour and a half. So, luckily, I have a charger I can just hook up directly to it, and it should keep it alive.
Perfect.
So,
all good?
There we go. All good.
Okay. All right, and then so advanced, separating out the strength and the hypertrophy. Also, it's just like if you want to not just target strength, but also like you just want to like focus more on like compound lifts. Like you're maybe like so like for right now, you're more so you're trying to build muscle, you're trying to lose fat, but you're not like doing like fine adjustments, right? You're not like, oh, I want to raise the peak of my bicep, or like, oh,
No.
Yeah.
Nothing super specific yet like that.
Yeah. So like that's why on the flowchart I also put like compound lifts, like not super precise. So like strength / compound, chest, back, arms, legs makes a return. But then also I put down chest and tris, back and bis, delts and legs. Oh wait. Oh, that's just the same as push, pull, delts, legs. So yeah, those are also found at the intermediate level, but there's going to be overlap. But like the intensity is going to be more intense. Whoa, I'm out of focus. There we go. But the intensity at the advanced level is going to be more different. Maybe you're doing slightly more complicated movements that require more focus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And
it's also an increase in frequency. Correct? Like you might be going more to the gym, and also you might be doing more volume, like more sets.
Yeah.
In total.
Yeah, I think I put 4 to 6 times for the advanced level.
Yep.
Okay. And then for the hypertrophy / precision, this is what I do. I'm basically in this camp pretty much just all the time. And like I change things around. I put some weird examples in here, like that chest and quads. Wait, no, chest and ham. I'm gonna change it because it's wrong. All right, chest and hams. There we go. Chest and hams, back and quads, delts and glutes, bis and tris. I'm really I'm at the level I got a decent amount of muscle. But now I'm trying to chisel things. I've been working on the balance of my right to my left. So like even through my hoodie, you can see that they're pretty much the same. After years of tennis, my right side was way bigger, but through precision, focusing a lot of isometric lifts, isometric being, isolateral, one side at a time. Yeah.
Yep.
Isometric is just the opposite of compound. Isometric is one muscle group. Compound is multiple muscle groups. So like a lot of isolateral work, like really focusing on the squeeze, getting connected to that bicep, that's a lot of precision work. And so like right now I'm doing chest and bis, back and tris, delts and legs. So there's no overlap, and so that allows me to be very precise because there is no overlap. So like, when I'm doing like chest press, I'm not getting any work on my triceps for the triceps that I'm doing that day because I'm not hitting triceps that day. So there's no overlap. So I'm not getting that overlapping benefit. I'm getting a different benefit of precision, of isolation. Hence the hypertrophy precision overlap. So if I'm just going to summarize like hypertrophy versus strength is going to have a lot of overlap. It's going to hit a lot of compound lifts. It's going to hit a lot of deadlifts, squats, bench press, machine press, leg press machine. Like it's going to have a lot of those. And therefore you should have splits that have some overlap.
Okay.
Whereas the precision, like I am making very fine tweaks in my physique, so there should not be overlap. A lot of the exercises I'm hitting are oftentimes in isolation. I think it's about a ratio of, I think I'm hitting usually about 1 compound and then 2 isolation exercises per muscle group. So like for chest example, I've been really liking this hammer press, like a plate loaded chest press machine.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that. And then like cable flies and maybe like a cable machine. So a lot of precision. Whereas like strength would probably be the opposite, maybe like 2 compounds per every like 1. I'm out of focus again.
Just like doing that.
It's because I'm moving a lot. It's my own fault. Okay. And that's the flowchart. And did you have any questions? I know I sent this to you like minutes before our call.
Yes. Actually, can you send it to me one more time because I don't think it updates.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But basically, so like for the splits, is there like any specific workout that is like tried and true? It just seems to be consistently good, like to do, like even for beginners or advanced, it's like you should pretty much have this workout as like a good starting point as well as just a consistent, it works for that muscle. And the best way I've heard this question described is like if you could have say 1 workout for every single muscle group that it's like the only one you could do, basically. That's the best way I've heard this question described. What would it be?
Me specifically, or like for this split to be the only one in existence and everyone can only do this split?
No, it's just like for you personally.
For me?
Yeah.
Well,
Because the ones that I've heard is like for chest, it's like if they could only have one workout for it, they would want the incline, because you can still change the variableness of the incline to keep it consistent with other, like, with the other portions of your chest. And then for like back, they would take either lat pull downs or pull-ups in general. So that kind of thing is like the kind of question is like, if you could choose one workout to hit every single, or like one workout for every single muscle group, like what was your recommendations there in general?
So you're still asking for a split, right? Not exercises?
Yeah, kind of. But just kind of like what exercise, or this one's more of like an exercise question, I guess, of each one. Like, I guess would be the best way of putting it.
Wait,
like,
so you do want to know my...
Yeah, kind
Sorry,
of.
I'm distracted.
It's just...
Get out of here, cat. Okay.
The reason I'm asking is because like I've had people ask me like, what exercise do I recommend that they do on like on a specific split? Like they have a split, but they just don't know what to do.
Okay. So this...
So it's like a good starting place for that. Because like for me personally, bench is my favorite for chest day. I just like it. It feels good.
True. Okay, so I actually really like this question. Because it kind of because this question is basically the next step after this flow chart.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be what our next talk is about, because I think we're coming up.
Yeah.
We're about at about an hour. But I'll give you a short answer today right now. Okay, I will first preface it with why I think it would need like its own hour to answer that question.
Yeah.
Which is, it depends on who you are, what your goals are.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Because, okay, the reason why, I will preface it. I do like your question, but I will also follow it up with one of my least favorite things is oversimplifications, because I don't want there to become a misunderstanding of like, if I were to answer this question, be like, hey, like, every chest day that I ever do contains this one exercise. I don't want someone to hear that and be like, oh, I should always do that. Because my goals and my preferences are not the same as everyone's. There's a reason I'm doing it. My experience is going to be different than anyone who listens to me. It's like what makes it my favorite will not necessarily be what's the best for a listener, for another person. They might perform it differently than I would. Or maybe they have a certain imbalance that makes it uncomfortable, or they have an injury, or like, I don't know.
This is actually the exact reason I wanted to ask it, because a lot of fitness influencers, I like Mike Israetel, I'm pretty sure you've heard of his name.
Never heard of him.
Okay, the reason I ask if you've heard of him is because he's a part of a YouTube channel called Renaissance Periodization.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, okay. And he got asked a similar question. He's like, he answered it the exact way that you don't want to answer it, that you should always have this kind of thing in it.
Well,
and like, I just wanted to know if there was like more variableness to that kind of thing than just...
Okay. So I'm trying to rack my brain. I'm trying to think of a way that I could answer it in a succinct, singular sentence, but I can't, because... there is ways that I can, but it won't be an answer for everyone. So the way that I can answer that question would be, if you are an intermediate or advanced lifter looking for hypertrophy, then I could give you an answer.
Okay.
But like, if it's if you're a beginner, or if like you're looking for strength even, or
It's a very complicated question.
I know, because there's too many variables. I like precision. So the reason why I really like, well, I like this flowchart that I made, but the reason why I made it in the first place.
That's the reason I wanted it.
Well, you didn't even ask me for this flowchart. I just made this flowchart. Because no matter who looks at this flowchart, you can figure out what's best for you, right? Yeah. So it works for everyone. And also, side benefit, it makes whoever's looking at it think, because those oversimplified questions, which is this is the best thing ever, all it requires of the person listening to be like, okay, I'll do that. Without thinking, why is that the best answer? Should I even do that? Should I be listening to this person? Is this person trustworthy? Yeah. Does this person have the same goals as me? Like, these questions are important.
Because that's the reason I brought up the question.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, if you can't answer, or like you said, if you can't really answer the whole thing,
well,
it could be a future podcast.
If we change the question, I can answer the question.
Okay.
Which is like,
how would you want to change it?
Okay. Okay. Okay, I can change it. I can do it. I got this. Okay. So per muscle group.
Yeah.
What is the best bang for your buck? There you go. I like that. What's the best bang for your buck exercise across all categories? Yeah. So this exercise will improve hypertrophy, strength. It hits probably all parts of the muscle rather than just like one head of the muscle.
Yeah.
So to rephrase, what is the best bang for your buck exercise for each muscle group? Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great, actually.
All right. Okay, we got there. Okay, I will answer your question. I'll go through all of them with the disclaimer that everyone should think for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Enough. Okay. Chest. Incline dumbbell press. Reason being, so like any pressing motion is going to hit your whole chest, right? You're never really isolating it, right? And plus, for the record, most of my incline presses are not very inclined. So if this is flat, I'm usually like here.
It's like only a 15-degree incline, 30-degree incline.
Yeah, 15 to 30. Yeah, it is like 30. Yeah. I think 45, I think that's too much. I think you're starting to hit your delts way too much. Especially the front delts. Like these every shoulder press, you are hammering away at your front delt. Yeah, you're engaging your lateral head a bit. I think it's like a traditional shoulder press, just like bam, like that. That's like what, 60 to 70% front delt. People are doing front raises. People are doing whatever. People doing upright rows. Well, I guess that's lateral head, but I don't know. My point is the anterior head gets hit a lot. I think that if you can avoid hitting your front delt more, I think it's good for balance.
It's just a better. Yeah.
Yeah. And the flatter it is, the more chest you're going to hit in proportionality to your delts. So my answer for chest is incline chest press, like 30 degrees, because you can make it a compound movement. You can hit your delts, you can hit your triceps if you're really pushing that weight. But like, I actually almost like to think of it as a hybrid fly. So like, this is the traditional fly, but actually when I do a fly, I've had a lot of shoulder issues in the past. So whenever I do, I feel like it's pretty common amongst.
Pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. probably due to form issues. I think we got to learn better form from the get-go. My foundation, like when I first started lifting when I was 16, was not the most solid. Who I learned it from. So anyway, so like dumbbell chest flies, I feel a lot in my delt, no matter what I do. Like maybe my connection to my chest is just bad. I don't know, but the way that I actually like to do specifically flies is I actually do a bit of a hybrid. I bend my elbow and straighten my elbow a little bit through the fly. So my arm is coming out a lot. Maybe not like, okay, here.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing a fly, it's looking like this, a dumbbell fly. So I'm bending my elbow. My elbow's at 90 degrees right there.
Yeah.
And I'm straightening it out. That's how I'm doing my dumbbell fly every time.
It's like a fly chest hybrid.
Yeah. So my dumbbell press is actually quite similar. It's just like that. It's mostly just like, it's not coming out as much. So like my fly again, it's kind of coming out, kind of like an arc. And then my press, it's a bit more of a straight line if you follow the path of my wrist. Bit more of a straight line, but you can see, so there's fly, here's press, here's fly.
Yeah.
They're very similar. So because my press is kind of like a hybrid with a fly, it's very customizable with what you want to do. Do you want to really try to isolate that chest? Do you want it to be more compact? Do you want to lift heavier? It's also good because of that fact, because it forces you to think, like to be present, to be thinking about that muscle, to force yourself to have that mind muscle engagement.
Yeah, there's a lot more variableness to it. You can change the weight, you can change the form a little bit, and you can also change the height of the chair that you're using.
Yeah.
For the bench.
Yeah. Also, I just think that like the upper chest, especially because in terms of bodybuilding, the upper chest is the most important part of the chest to build. Yep. But also, as I mentioned, like you're going to be hitting to some degree almost the entire chest. Yeah. Whereas like with like decline chest press, you're not really hitting much of the upper chest.
Yeah, it's almost entirely the lower middle chest.
Okay, so that's chest. That's my answer for chest. Incline dumbbell press. Back. If you have a plate loaded lat pull down, it's my favorite. Plate loaded.
Okay.
Pronated. Is that pronated? That's supinated. Pronated?
Yeah, supinated, pronated.
Yeah.
All right.
This is my favorite, especially because, so like, speaking from experience, I have one in my gym. So I can just take my hand, I can put it on that lat, I can feel that muscle right there, and I can just squeeze it, and I can just bring it down. Feels really good, just like the whole way through. And I don't get quite as good like a contraction, especially I definitely don't get as good a squeeze on like a traditional lat pull down, even if it is like this grip. It's just like because the way that if it's plate loaded, the heaviest part, the hardest part of the lift is at the bottom. It's at the squeeze. So it forces you to squeeze. Whereas with cables, of course, it's the same amount of resistance the whole way through. So yes, that's my answer for back. Next muscle group.
Next muscle group, I would say legs.
Legs. Leg press.
Leg press. Is it also because of a similar, like it can be variable? Kind of like with foot positioning?
Yes, with foot positioning. Also just because, okay, there's multiple reasons. Once you start to really push heavy weight with your legs, like, let's see, 2-3 weeks ago, the last time I went heavy on my leg day, I did, how many did I do? Did I do 8 or 9 plates on each side for 8 reps? I think it was 8 plates for 8 reps on each side. 720 pounds for 8 reps. Really slow. It was like 2 seconds down, 2 seconds up.
Okay.
And I cannot load 720 pounds on my shoulders. One, because I have a bad back. I'm actually still kind of It's almost healed. But like even if I was like back to being like 20 years old, how old are you? Are you 19, 20?
19, about to be 20 in 2 months.
Your body is invincible right now. You get some aches and pains, but like you could jump off a building and you'd be fine because you are 19. I remember being 19. That was 11 years ago. But like I remember just being like invincible. So like even back when I was 19, even if like I would not be able to load 720 pounds on my back. That's not happening. Especially because like I have like a 24-inch waist. I have not measured it lately in a few years, so don't take that number literally. But I have a really tight waist. I've always had a very slim waist, so like that core cannot support 720 pounds, probably even with a weight belt.
Yeah, no reason to risk it.
Yeah. So reason why leg press is because it allows you to lift really heavy weight without loading your back and your core, especially because like if you are looking for true classic era bodybuilding beauty standards, they want a tight waist. So like if you are loading your shoulders with 3 plates, 315, and you're doing squats, you have to have a strong core for that. And like that amount of tension on your core is going to make it a bit bulkier, which is fine for some people. If that's what you want, all the power to you. Not my preference. And like, and traditional, technically like beauty standards are like for guys, it's shoulder to waist ratio.
Yep.
So like, technically the anyway, you get my point. So not loading the back keeps the core tighter. I wouldn't say like smaller, but like just like you get a better
more
taper.
Compact. Yeah.
So leg press, and you can do higher positioning for more hamstrings and glutes. You can do lower position for more quads. You can do wider. You can do inner. So yes, leg press for legs.
Yeah, and then just because I don't think it's fair to keep arms all in one section, because you have the biceps and the triceps, there's no real exercise that's both of those at the same time that I know of. So I would say, what would be your like go-to for both of those muscles? Like for biceps, like would it be bicep curls or some variant of it?
Bicep
and
curls.
Then triceps, would it be like a tricep push down or whatever?
To backtrack really quickly for legs, honorary mention for lunges. Good stuff. Especially if you're beginner intermediate, but also at the advanced level, finish off your leg day with a bunch of walking lunges. It's good stuff. Okay, bis and tris. Preacher curl.
Preacher curl.
Because again, they're but preacher curl with dumbbells.
Okay.
I really like it specifically isolateral.
Yeah, the reason why I ask for specifics on that is because there's the easy bar preacher curl, there's also the machine preacher curl variant that my gym has. So like it's good to ask, it's like, all right, would you want to like say like recommend isolateral or like various other things versus those other resources?
Okay. No, that's a good point. I do like this exercise. Okay. Preacher curl was my knee-jerk reaction answer.
It's the only reason I bring them up. It's because those are also viable options.
I'm going to retract my answer. I'm going to say standing alternating dumbbell curls. So like right side, left side, right side, left side.
Yeah.
I like Arnold curls, but of course never neglect your hammer lifts. I would actually recommend people do a ratio of 2 hammer per every 1 supinated for biceps. That's my preference. Just because, like, also if you look at guys at the gym, usually they're not hurting for a peak, right? Like usually it's pretty up, but
it's pretty pronounced.
There's usually like a pretty decent gap between the elbow there, especially like when they do it at the side. So like the hammer curl, it works on that. It helps it go all the way into the arm. So just in general, ratio 2-to-1 hammer to supinated curl. But then also the Arnold curl, classic. So if I'm allowed to say just like alternating dumbbell curls, I'm going to say that. But if you're going to force me to say one grip, I would say hammer grip.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to force the one, but I do like that answer because it gives it gives a little bit of a perspective, in my opinion, of like how much there actually is to working out. It's not just one answer sits and is best for everything.
No, a lot of reasons. If you only do one answer, it gets stale. You get imbalanced. You just stop thinking. I think it's the worst thing to do in a gym. If you're just like doing the same old routine you do your 10 seconds of lift, look at your phone for 3 minutes, do your 10-second lift, look at your phone for 3 minutes. Yeah. This is the worst thing you could do. You're never going to make any progress. So the most important thing is just like being present. Just like think.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing?
And that's actually the reason I had asked the question to begin with, was because it's like, for me, that's how I go about it, is like, what are all the options that I have and what do I exactly want to be doing here? Sometimes I'll do the supinated bicep curls. Sometimes I'll do hammer curls. Sometimes instead of doing supinated, I'll do hammer curls and preacher curls. It just depends on how I feel that day and whether or not I want to isolate the muscle more.
It's good. That's like my recommendation when people are like, oh, what are the best vegetables to eat? I'm like, all of them. As many different ones as you can possibly put on your plate. Just eat every single one of them. Same thing with every type of curl. Do all the types of curl. They all have a purpose. They're all good. It's up to your discretion for like what do you want to focus on. But other than that, everything.
I feel like for forearms, a lot of people do their own like variant of a sort of like, that kind of motion for it.
Yeah.
I don't really see too much for forearms there.
So, okay. 2-part answer. Okay, so speaking as someone who's like always had pretty decent sized forearms, like I've always had pretty good forearms. I have not done dedicated forearm exercises in years. So I'm going to start my answer with a disclaimer, which is that like when you're listening to anyone offer advice online, especially about fitness, and they're like, oh, this is the best thing, realize, do they have biases? Understand that they have their own personal experience, especially genetics. Like I am genetically, I genetically have like a predisposition to having big arms. I know this because my brother has massive arms. Also, I am one of the lucky few to have genetically strong calves. I know this because my mom, massive calves, bigger than my calves. My sister, bigger calves than me. They don't lift their calves. They don't work out in the gym. Neither of them. They exercise. Well, actually, my sister lifts a bit. Not to smack talk my sister. But like my mom does not do any calf raises. She just got big. She does do martial arts. So maybe that's my answer for big calves. Become a black belt in Tai Chi, Kung Fu. Not Jiu-Jitsu. Tai Chi, Kung Fu, and Taekwondo. She's a black belt in all three.
That's actually very impressive. Good for her.
Yes. She is a world champion in
then
2 of them.
I guess the last 2 muscle groups that we have to talk about, just because why not?
Oh wait, I didn't finish my forearms. Forearms. Okay, I just wanted that take my answer with a grain of salt because I have naturally big forearms and I have not hit them in years. But when I did used to hit them, my favorite forearm exercise is take a fixed weight barbell.
Okay.
Put it in your hand.
Yep.
So this is clenched. Kind of let it come down a bit, and then flex it up, so you can see that I'm getting a very good squeeze on my forearms. Just kind of like that. Not my current massage therapist, but my last massage therapist said, don't do the finger part because apparently it wrecks the tendons. So maybe just this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry for not giving such a vague answer. I just haven't hit forearms because my true answer for forearms is as long as you are gripping things in the gym, they will grow.
You're training them. Yeah.
That's my true answer. Like, you don't really need to hit forearms.
Fair enough.
Especially because I'm a pianist. You're a pianist. And you shouldn't be wrecking your finger muscles hitting forearms. You should save it for fine movements.
But I have friends who don't play piano, and they also don't go to the gym for or they do go to the gym for like specifics in that sense. Like they're trying to build up their forearms, and
if they're trying to build up their forearms, tell them to hit biceps and triceps because they're connected. Like these tendons that go from your fingertips, they go all the way to your shoulder. So like these muscles that are around here, they're connected to these muscles.
Okay. Yeah.
Are they? Well, the tendons are. Wait, the muscles aren't.
The tendons are, but the muscles aren't. Yes.
But they're connected in the way that like they move. You know.
Yeah.
You can never isolate them. So like when you're hitting these, like these have to be engaged. Like if you're holding on to the weight, they're going to be engaged. So when you hit your biceps, squeeze the weight, move that weight. They'll grow.
Yeah. Same thing with like lat pull downs and all that kind of stuff. You have to hold, like you are holding onto that weight as you're pulling it down, kind of thing. So
yeah,
that is another thing. Like you're going to be doing like grip strength there as well.
Yeah. Anything pulling. Any back exercise, you're also going to be gripping.
Yep.
Yeah. So forearms, you don't have to isolate your forearms. Triceps. I would say.
I know this one's complicated because there's 3 heads.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to say dips. Bet you weren't expecting that. I bet you were expecting cable tricep extensions.
I actually was, yeah.
I was considering it. I will offer that as an honorable mention. Specifically the way that I do it. So like I've mentioned to you before, the way that I like to do my bicep curls is I let that elbow kind of drift forward a little bit because that's one of its functions. I'm gonna squat down a little. There you go.
Yeah.
I actually like to do the inverse for triceps as well. So when I'm hunched over, so my feet are square, cable, we're over here, starting here, and so the arm will, the humerus will be straight forward a little bit. And then I'm going to bring it straight down. So it's like my arm is going straight to the floor. So right there to right there. Well, hold on. Let me do a little better. Right there, like that.
So yeah, still a little bit of movement of the arm and kind of like the biceps, but the inverse. Yeah.
And you can do, I really like supinated for this. I feel like it really gives a really good squeeze, like all the way up into the shoulder, right? Because it inserts all the way freaking up here. So really feeling it really high up. I feel like most people just really over exaggerate the short head, just this tiny little bit right here with the pronated. But they neglect the supinated. So they're neglecting the long head being 2/3 of the tricep. That's the more important head. Actually, now I think about it, same thing with the biceps. The long head of the bicep, the hammer curl head, it's 2/3 of the bicep. So you kind of should be doing 2-to-1 ratio of hammer to supinated. Same thing with triceps. Supinated.
Okay. And then the last one is delts.
Delts.
That one's another hard one for me because
I have 2 picks. I'm trying to pick a favorite.
I like my lateral raises, to be honest.
Oh, it's got to be lateral raises for sure. I'm trying to think.
My lateral raises. That's my pick personally.
Ooh.
Especially now that like I understand lateral raises properly and I can change the form based off of how I'm leaning.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So.
I'm trying to pick between dumbbell or cable.
Fair enough.
It would be so if it was dumbbells, thumbs pointed down all the way up. So actually like 45 degrees, so like not letting it go all the way down, but like 45 degrees to like 45 degrees.
Okay.
Like there to there.
Yeah.
Or one arm cable, like the cable's like across your body. So,
yeah.
So it would be just going to there.
Okay.
To there.
Yeah.
It'd be one of those. They're both good.
So yeah, that
function.
Yeah, no. The reason I ask is because I know that you're gonna like try and like hit as much as possible and make it as like all around as possible. So like there's at least variation involved and that you can like change it up a little bit as needed kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the people I watch online, they're like, you need to do these things that isolates this one muscle. Do it.
My question would be why?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't get why they're doing that.
I'm just a naturally rebellious person. I'll be like, you can't tell me what to do. Do what I want.
But no, please. Thank you for listing those out because, like, for me personally, I do a lot of those movements and I like to do variations of them because I don't feel like I hit the whole muscle whenever I do only one version of it. So, like, supinated curls, I don't feel like I hit the long head enough, so I'll do hammer curls.
Yeah.
It's a great example.
One addendum that I would like to add to the fact that, like we've said, like do every exercise, do all the type of exercises, don't fall into a rut or a routine, right? Routine.
Yeah.
The addendum is there is great value in mastering the form of any given thing. And like I've been lifting for 16 years. Like the number of exercises that I could say I have truly mastered, not that many. Like I'm still learning new insights on how to engage it, like maybe in a different way. Yeah. I'm learning like new variations on certain movements. Like I'm still learning about these exercises. Like that dumbbell chest press, like I'm still learning so much about that, even though I basically do it every chest day, and I do chest day twice a week now.
There's always room for improvement and ways to create variation. Yeah,
so it's kind of like with piano, you wouldn't just like play a song like 1 to 3 times and then switch to a new song and then a new song and a new song. Like, right, you would want to master that song before you move on to the next song so that you improve through the mastering process. And if you want, you can always come back and you can always replay it. But it'll be mastered and it'll be perfect. But maybe not the best analogy. But with exercises, like there is going to be bread and butter. So like going back to your original example, like oh, this is the best exercise, like everyone should always do this. Like, yeah, there's going to be bread and butter, but like you can change your bread and butter. Like you can make variations. You can
alter it.
Yeah. And that's like, of course there's the basic ways of doing like, oh, you can do incline, you can do flat, you can do decline. Yes. But there's also like, where are you focusing? Like, are you focusing at the squeeze? Are you doing it? Are you trying to generate power? like, there's so many little things that you can tweak, you can change, that you can just focus on. There's rep ranges, there's tempo, speed, how much rest are you getting? There's so many things that you can tweak. Yeah, so even though it's always just dumbbell chest press, there is dozens, if not hundreds of things that you can tweak about it to make it different. And when you change it, any little thing, it will prevent plateau. Not just because, like, and this is actually a good point that I wanted to kind of turn into its own video or something, but it's like, only slight tangent, I promise it won't be long. It's like, so you know the muscle shock techniques from...
Yeah. I read through Arnold's book.
Yes, yeah.
I read through Arnold's book.
Yes, so I love the book, right? I have a slight take on it. So again, they're good. I think everyone should do them, but the premise is of the reason why it works. I think that there might be another aspect to it that the book does not talk about, the Arnold book.
Really?
So the book says that you should shock your muscles, right?
Yeah.
Do a drop set, do a pause set, do a pyramid, do a reverse pyramid this time. Do it differently each time. So each time you do it, you're keeping your body guessing and it's forcing it to adapt. That's the traditional premise behind muscle shock techniques, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to limit as much plateau as possible.
Yes, obliterate that plateau. I would like to add that if you're changing it up and you're shocking the muscles, an added benefit to it is that it's forcing you into the moment. It's forcing you to be conscious of what you're doing. You're no longer on autopilot. Like, you're just like, oh yeah, these are bicep curls. I do this every Monday. Right?
Yeah.
Now you're doing it differently. You're focusing. You're pushing yourself. You're in the moment. And that's an extra benefit of muscle shock techniques. You cannot do it on autopilot if you're doing muscle shock techniques.
Yeah, because your body isn't used to it all the time. So there's no way for you to just say, oh yeah, I've done this every other time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way, but that is true.
Yes. And honestly, at the end of the day, like, that's just how I want people to approach the gym, is just be present. And this kind of dips into more lifestyle things that, like, I like to talk about. So, like, we pretty much only talked about fitness, but, like, I also like to talk about the mental side of things, and even I'll even be touching on the spiritual side of things. And that's more just like wellness, like self-actualization kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how should you live your life? That's what I mean by, like, spirituality. I don't mean like Jesus or
no. You mean like sort of like, I guess, how to say this, like meditation in a way, like sort of bringing a calmness, it's control over oneself kind of thing. Yeah, I like that. And so, like, that kind of touches on, like, I just think that everyone would benefit from being more present, right? The muscle shock techniques forces you to be present. I think that you should just be present, not just when you lift, because when you lift and you're present, you're not going to be on autopilot. You're going to be able to lift more. You're going to be able to lift harder when you're present, but also when you're eating. Like, don't be watching TV while you eat every time. I mean, I oftentimes watch TV while I eat, but, like, sometimes, like, especially like if I, like, really take the time to, like, sit down and cook myself a good ass meal, like, I will, like, sit down and enjoy it.
I'll be like, yes, take in the smells, be grateful, like, thank you, self, I put in the time for this. This wasn't easy. I don't really like to cook, but I did this. I took the time. I put in the effort. Thank you, self. I'm gonna enjoy this, and then with every bite you enjoy it, you be present. It's just, like, a good way to live.
Yeah, and I understand that mentality because I also do that. For a long time, I would eat, like, and either do homework or something else while I was doing it because that's how I was. But nowadays, it's like sometimes I will literally just go get my food and, like, come back to my table and set everything aside and just eat, not watch anything,
good,
not doing anything else, just trying to enjoy the meal.
Yes. Yeah, good.
That was especially so whenever my dad made a stew. I enjoyed that. It was really good.
Nice.
Lots of flavors and textures.
Yes.
Very fun.
Right. Yeah, it's awesome.
So, yeah, no. I know that you want to wrap things up. So,
Probably. We've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's any last minute questions.
Nothing last minute that I want to bring up, but I will keep you posted on what my friend or what my friends say about this, and see if they have any more questions, because that might lead to further ideas and things that you could talk about.
For sure. Yeah.
So.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, thank you for talking to me. This was illuminating.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Yeah, we went over a lot of good stuff, and we didn't have to rush our piano lesson afterward. It's good.
Exactly. I'm also hoping that, like, because of doing this, I'm actually able to focus more on piano the next time.
We get a good amount done, but yeah, it might be better to focus a little bit more. But all right, thank you very much. I'll catch you later.
Yeah. See ya.
Okay, and I can just end the recording there. We don't have to say goodbye or